Welcome to In Good Company, guys. If you're going to stick with us for the full show, we're having a few technical problems. Me and Stuart seem to be okay. We keep losing Abdul, and Paul was with us, and he's having to reboot his system. So if we have a little flicks between, guys, hope you put up with it. Stuart, mate, how are you doing, mate?
Doing all right. My internet's working, and City won, didn't we? So it's been a pretty good weekend.
Yeah,
it's been an excellent weekend football-wise for City, hasn't it, really?
Well, it's been brilliant, Anthony. I'm just going to try Abdul again, guys, just to see. I'll put him back on. I think Paul's coming on in a minute as well. Abdul, mate, I've just explained we're having a few technical problems. How have you been, mate? You okay?
Man, I've been so happy. Obviously, top of the league. Top of the league, right? So, like, we should be happy. I've always been happy with City playing football now. Ever since top of the league, I'm just living the life right now. So I'm good.
Well, I must admit, I'm in good company. I've never had this opportunity before, really. Yeah, he's top of the league. He's top of the league. Right, he's top of the league. Right. We've not been going many episodes, have we, guys? So we've not had much chance to shout about that. Paul, mate, have you sorted yourself out? How are you doing?
I think my phone's as hungover as I am, to be honest. Had a bit of a messy do last night, so it's the first Christmas do at work's do I've been on in about 15 years. And
was that your first Christmas do? I thought, how many are you having?
Well, with the light last night, probably not too many. It was a great night.
Right, okay. Yeah, so, listen, guys, I think we've lost Abdul again, but we'll carry on regardless. Let's get on with this. It's we'll get on with it anyway. Right, we're going to talk about Watford. We're going to talk about Watford 1, Manchester City 3. Yeah, interesting. I'll just quickly go through the Watford team. Backman, Rose, Trushikong, Lusa, King, Cleverly, Pedro, Cathcart, Boo, Sissoko, Femenia, and Dennis. I think I did all right with those guys. I think that was all right. Yeah, a little bit. Only one or two players different to what I thought it might be. I don't think there's anything really unusual in that lot. But let's have a quick look at the City team. Ederson, Walker, Diaz, Laporte, Cancelo, Rodri, Gundo, Bernardo, Sterling, Foden and Grealish. Bit more like it, Paul, that wasn't it? Bit more like the old quality City teams we expect.
Well, that's pretty much full strength, really, isn't it? So, as soon as you see that starting lineup, you think, happy days. This is going to end well, this.
Well, Stuart, I'll come to you. What about the bench, mate? I mean, we have commented about the bench being a bit iffy, to say the least, the last couple of games. But all of a sudden, let me just say what's all right. We got both goalies on again, which is always a weird thing anyway. But you got Stefan, Carson, Stones, Aki, Jesus, Zinchenko, KDB, Ferner, and Mahrez. Paul, we're back to normal, aren't we, mate? With a strong bench. Sorry, Stuart, we're back to normal with a strong bench. All this technical things, your mind's going. I'm looking at different things here, trying to make sure it's all working. Go on, Stuart, mate. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a quality bench, and it was good to see De Bruyne back as well. And it's nice to see that strength in depth again, because it has been a bit touch and go for the last few weeks with youngsters on there and not even fielding a full bench, did we, the other night, I don't think.
No, I think we had 2 or 3 extra spaces, didn't we? Us three could have gone on the bench just for the experience, couldn't we? I was a bit gutted, really. I mean, that would have been even better. Yeah, I mean, Paul, I'll come back to you. At the start of the game, I mean, obviously all the niggles had cleared up. That's first 15 minutes. We had 6 attempts on target. 6 attempts and 5 on target. Obviously, we got the first goal. I'm sure you remember the first goal, mate. I mean, I don't want to push this too much, but what were your views on that first one? It looked a bit easy to me. It looked a bit simple finishing for a certain gentleman. What did you think of that first goal after 4 minutes, wasn't it?
Well, it was quite interesting because I was watching this on the phone in the back of the taxi going to Manchester. So I did actually see this, but yeah, it was again Foden's ball across. It was literally put right on his head, wasn't it? It landed perfectly, and it was he made it look simple, but it was like it was a great goal, wasn't it? I mean that ball from Foden.
Yeah. I mean,
think,
he looks as though he took time to pick his spot as well, didn't it, Paul? He looks as though he sort of looked around, and I'm going to head that in this spot here, and that's where I'm going to put it. You know, he had plenty of time to think about it. The marking was pretty shambolic, to be honest with you. So, I mean, that's what it looked like to me, Mr. Sterling, Paul. I mean, Paul.
I mean, to be honest, I mean, that's the scary thing, and that is a good thing. The fact that he had time to pick his spot. Normally, when he's got time, he fluffs his lines, and he didn't. You know, he had time. The ball came across. It was perfect ball. He picked his spot, and that's normally he does that, and it goes sideways. So, have we got the Raheem Sterling back that we'd lost for maybe a season?
Well, we'll talk about that later, mate, because it didn't quite all go to plan, did it? I don't think. But we'll mention Raheem Sterling before we end this sort of little report on the Watford game. Stuart, Abdul's back with us. I'll come to you in a minute, mate. Stuart, we did have a few chances, though, that first 15 minutes. I mean, it should have been 2-3, 4-0, shouldn't it? I mean, Grealish was the main culprit. Do you remember any of his stuff that he sort of didn't quite finish off?
Yeah, he had a few, didn't he? Goalie made some decent saves, I thought, but I think he could have had an hat-trick, couldn't he? I think Grealish in the first half. If I thought he was definitely going to get a goal. He had so many chances and he just kept falling for him. I thought he's definitely going to get a goal tonight, and then it just didn't go for him. But at least he's in the right area for it, and he's having a go. So he looks a bit more confident. I don't know if it's just because he's had them couple of games off where he's had a bit of a rest and that. But I thought he looked well at it last night.
Yeah, I think we'll come back to Grealish as well. I was going to go to Abdul then, but I think I'll be wasting my time just at the moment. So we'll zoom forward to the 31st minute. And we have a little genius, don't we, Paul? We have a little genius in our ranks who, hey, he's like a striker. It's like having a striker on the pitch. I mean, what do you remember about that? Our little genius's second goal in the 31st minute.
Well, I've only seen the highlight of it. I didn't. We were literally going into the event at this time, so I do apologise. I did try to watch the game, but the man. I can't say enough about this guy. That he is just on a different level. For me now, he's a different level than anybody playing world football. He's just like he. For me, the best bit is he plays with a smile on his face all the time. He just cracks on with it. He loves it. He absolutely loves playing football. I don't think he'd bother who he played for. He'd turn up and play on a park on a Sunday, I think. The man is an absolute genius. Makes football look so simple.
I think we're running out of superlatives, aren't we, Stuart, on about Bernardo? I mean, he just does it game in, game out. For me, it's just unbelievable. I mean, as far as his worth's concerned going forward, I mean, he's got to be, 150 million. If someone come in for any less than that, if they're going to put 150 million on Harry Kane, let's be honest about it, you'd have to put that sort of figure on him. And he gave us that 2-0 lead, of course. I mean, obviously, we had a nice 2-0 lead the other week against Villa, didn't we? But anything else in that half? I remember Foden, Stuart, do you remember that effort where he really should have done better? I think. Remember that one where he turned on it? What happened there?
Well, I thought it was close until I saw the replay, and it was miles away, wasn't it? But he did. I think he was just a bit off balance when he hit it. He should have done better. Probably had more time than what he thought. But yeah, he's worth a goal, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it must have hit the corner flag. That I don't know where it went. As I say, I think it was perfect, but it just proves it needs a bit more time, perhaps. I mean, so 2-0 at half time. Paul, what do you reckon? Were you confident? I mean, when I think back to the Villa game, and obviously we let it slip, and we need the basics, don't we? Keep it tight for 5 or 10 minutes in that second half. But really, Watford hadn't done that much. I think they had a couple of little sort of breakaways. Anything you remember, the bits you might have seen from that first half, Paul? I don't think they worried us that much, did they?
No, they didn't. They didn't bother us at all. But as I say, that midweek, it was the same there. So you can never really, as a legendary old school City fan, you can't be too careful that when you go into the second half and you've been battering the team, that you don't know what's going to come out in the second half from them, from the opposition and from us. So always a little bit nervous when we go in at half time. So but it was all good. It was all good going in 2-0 up. That's we had a bit of confidence. And then I was just getting my first beer up from the one of many from the studio I went to. But we were still at the table watching the game, though. We were still watching.
Yeah, well, Stuart, on into the second half, and I did notice we were talking about Sterling before, and Paul said, have we got a bit of the old Sterling back?" But he became a bit hesitant for me, Stuart, in that second half again. He sort of I think there was an early, about 5 minutes into the second half, there's a 3-on-2 opportunity. We had three of us free, and Sterling picked it up on the right, and I think he had Grealish right to his far left, someone in the middle. And I think we started to see a little bit of the old hesitancy, didn't we, Stuart, in that second half?
Yeah, I think there was a few instances where he could have made a pass and he sort of like got tackled, or he just ran in to the trouble rather than passing it off. But I feel bad for Sterling because everyone's always on his back. But he scored a goal yesterday. I think he got man of the match in the end. But I mean, it wasn't man of the match for me. But he wasn't. I thought he played. I thought he played all right. To be honest, I thought he played all right. But Sky gave him man of the match, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the first 30 minutes, I thought first 30 minutes was excellent. It was a bit like the old Sterling, but I think after that, he did look a bit hesitant, as I say, that second half where he should have really picked out. Remember that goal, obviously the goal where obviously Jesus zoomed it across to Bernardo the other week against Villa. I mean, Sterling should have released Grealish immediately. He was onside. All he had to do was bend it around the defender into the path of Grealish. Not saying Grealish should score. He's not, he didn't do very well, but generally. But I mean, he just seemed to wait, Paul. I mean, obviously that for me wasn't a man of the match second half, certainly for Raheem.
No, I was amazed he got man of the match, to be honest. Again, what these pundits watch and what we see is a completely different thing, I think. I think they draw it out of a hat, I think, at half time, or they just do it to get City fans, getting on the phone and in the phone-ins and stuff. I think they just do it to wind us up and annoy us. I think Sterling, again, this to me looks like a classic player that's been lacking in confidence, and he's getting it back in ebbs and flows, but then he gets it back, as in the first half, and then the second half, a few things didn't go quite right, so then all of a sudden the dark cloud descends on him again. So I think this is just a classic player playing himself back into form, and I think slowly, you're always going to get Sterling, who he's always done it. He's always going to sort of like fluff some stuff that you think, oh, God, here we go. But then he'll do some great stuff. Unfortunately for him, over recent times, he's been doing it the opposite way where, he'll do most stuff badly and then the odd sort of good stuff will come. That's just Sterling playing his back himself into form, and he'll come good again. He'll come good again, I'm sure of it.
Well, one guy that we don't need to wait for to come good struck again in the 63rd minute, didn't he, Stuart? I mean, what can you tell us about that goal to put us obviously a nice, comfortable 3-0 ahead, of course?
All I can remember about the goal is it was an absolute cracker, wasn't it? That's all I can remember. That I just remember thinking, oh, fuck me, how's he done that? And,
yeah, I think it's a Walker assist one. I think Walker played it to him, didn't he? But although I say you can't really say it was a fantastic, just a good ball from Walker, and it's just Bernardo. What amazes me, Stuart, is they don't sort of double. Why don't teams double up on him? I mean, I don't understand. They sort of just seem to back off him and give him plenty of room. I mean, do they not know what he's capable of?
I think it's hard to double up on anyone, when you're playing against City, because we've got so many good players. If you double up on one, you're leaving Grealish or Foden or Sterling or someone like that available, and then they'll just do what he's going to do, but on the other side.
Yeah, I mean, it was a superb finish. I mean, the keeper absolutely not a cat and mouse chance. I mean, I think Bernardo for me is becoming, as far as our team is concerned, he's pretty lethal, isn't he? Let's be honest. He can sniff goals out and he can score wonderful goals as well, and that's amazing. Long may it continue. Unfortunately, Paul, I mean, obviously, it wouldn't be City, would it, unless we let a team back in it? Obviously, we're trying to wait for this. I think we're still waiting for Ederson's 100th clean sheet, is it, or something? I think he's on 99 or something like that. So, again, 74th minute from nowhere, really, Paul. I don't remember any sort of massive, Watford being on the rampage. All of a sudden, it equalised. Can you remember anything about that one?
I don't, to be honest. If I'm being perfectly honest, I'd got into the Jaeger bombs at that point. So, I heard the goal had been scored, but I couldn't tell you what went on. I just know it's been on social media today, and I know there's a few people going on at Laporte about it. But it happens in football, and it's going to happen. And you're going to a team is going to get sort of like 5 minutes, 10 minutes in a game where they do something. Aston Villa did it to us midweek, and it was the same again. They got a goal, and if there was a mistake, it's frustrating. But hey, listen, if that's the worst things that happens to us, where we don't keep any clean sheets, but we win every game, I'll settle for that.
Yeah, there's an element of luck about it, Stuart. Can you remember the thing? Obviously, the first shot had struck the post, didn't it? I mean, the element of luck was the fact it bounced straight back to the guy to put in at a tight angle. I mean, obviously, I don't think anyone blamed Edison. I mean, what were your thoughts? I think he got his hands to it, but he only helped it into the net. Unfortunately, I don't think he got enough time to react to it.
Yeah, it's like you say about it hit the post, and he got. The one that hit the post was probably a better chance. He hit the post and then it just bounced straight back out to, is it that Dennis fella put it in, didn't he? And I don't think there was a lot Edison could have done at that point, to be honest.
Now, did you panic a bit, Paul, at that stage, or would you have panicked at 3-1? I thought we were quite comfortable. I would have been happy not letting it in, but I mean, we'd brought obviously by that time we brought KDB and Mahrez on, hadn't we, guys? We brought them on for Gundogan and Grealish, and I thought that sort of. I thought he sort of ruined the flow just a little bit of the team. It's one of those subs that's probably needed to give players time on the pitch, and stuff like that. So I'm not going to berate Pep for making the substitutions because he wouldn't make that. He wouldn't have made that substitution normally. I mean, obviously, at 3-0 was it? Obviously 3-0 was it at the time when they came on? You're gonna make changes, aren't you? But even Pep doesn't normally make those. So. Paul, I mean, obviously, they got the goal back. I thought we were quite comfortable. Jesus came on as well. Foden went off. So is that what it was from Pep, just giving guys time, legs, giving them some time on the pitch? Is that all it was? It wasn't tactical, was it, or anything like that?
No, as you say, he wouldn't have normally done it. I think if we hadn't have had like the amount of fixtures and the time of year it is, I think he wouldn't have, he'd have just stuck with that team and played it out. Because, whenever you bring any sub on, there's always a bit of bedding in time that you need 5 or 10 minutes to get into the flow of the game. But so he certainly wouldn't have brought him on just to change the tactics or anything, because it didn't. As I say, it went against us a little bit because they were just settling in. Well, this was all going on. So no, I think he's got to do it. We've got a good squad. We've had players injured who need to get some game time. So. When you're 3-0 up at the time, it was, probably the right decision to make.
Yeah, Stuart. I mean, I don't remember Watford doing anything too drastic after that. I don't remember panicking too much. I think the sort of game, I think we sort of managed the game from the end. I don't think City had any great chances, to be honest, to make it, to sort of tie the game up at 4-1 or anything like that. But I just want to have a quick word before we sort of go off the Watford game and just have a quick man of the match. But before that, I just want to mention Grealish. I said we might go back to him. I think he was playing in a position, Stuart, yesterday that Pep wants him to play more often. I got the impression when Grealish got the ball, things slowed down a little bit. We're a bit buzzing, and then as soon as Grealish gets it, he takes his time, and the whole thing sort of slows down a bit. But I think he played Pep where he wants to play him up the middle. I think this is his aim long term, to play him more in the middle. I mean, but did you get that impression? And how successful do you think Grealish was yesterday at playing that role?
If he'd have got a goal, everybody would be saying he was great and he should have, and that's where he won. But that's where he should have been. I thought he was he got in the right positions, and I think he looked better there than what he has looked before he was off for them couple of games, if I'm honest.
Because he don't lose a ball much. I mean, he's a bit. Once he's got that ball, he very rarely gets fouled plenty of times, and perhaps not as much as he did at Villa, because obviously he's playing for a different team now. But he never looks as though you always think he's going to keep hold of it. You don't think he's going to lose it. He's got that skill. I mean, but do you see him as is that, to me, it's implying that we're not going to get, I'll just stay with you, Stuart. It implies to me that we're not likely to get a striker in January, that he's going to continue to play Grealish up the middle. What do you think? Am I reading too much into it, or do you think, obviously, that I think that's the plan? I don't think we will buy a striker in January. I think Pep's playing with this idea now to go for the rest of the season. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you. I don't think you're going to get a striker in January. I think he's going to go with the three, like what we have the three up front, right? Foden, Grealish, Sterling, or Mahrez, or whoever. I think that's what he's going to do. And I don't mind him through the middle, mate. but they all interchange, don't they? So if they can all play in the positions, then they can interchange, and then they can just completely bamboozle defences when they do it quickly.
Paul Grealish, what do you reckon, mate?
Yeah, I think that's probably. I think you're bang on. To be honest, I think what's going to happen is I think we might have a striker lined up next season, but we know we're not going to get one in January. So this is his version of Plan B. That we're going to get somebody that, because if we are going to get a striker in the new season, we've got to get the team playing in a way that we've got a striker again. Because bear in mind, this we've not had a striker really for a couple of seasons now. So if we are going to get this striker, which I think we're gonna end up doing, we need to readjust a little bit. So by playing Grealish or whoever up front, then we're going to get used to that for next season for when we do sign a striker. So yeah, I think it makes good sense, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I thought obviously once KDB came on and the other guys came on, I thought he started to play Bernardo a little bit deeper again, which is where I like him. I don't mind him playing anywhere, but I think he's more effective further up front. I do worry that Bernardo gets pulled back more defensively and more as a build-up player rather than a striker, because at the moment he's the only guy who seems to be able to on a regular basis find that net and beat the keepers. That does worry me. I do worry me a little bit going forward for the next, obviously, if once we've got a fully fit squad, which it appears we have again. Obviously Torres is still out, but everyone else appears to be okay. I'm sure Jesus is okay. I know that was a bit nasty, Stuart, on cap by calf. Do you think he needed more than a yellow card for that? But just before we sort of finished on the game, that foul at the end.
I didn't really see the challenge, to be honest, but I just noticed that
it wasn't sort of a bad tackle. It was just a cynical, just cynical. It was just deliberately went to sort of kick his leg to affect his, to basically trip him up. But at speed, if you trip someone up like that, you can cause serious damage as a professional. Obviously. Yeah. People say, "Oh, you've got Fernandinho who does that sort of thing," but it was a totally different sort of thing. It was just more cynical. But there you go. I mean, the possession overall was 78% for City. I think it was 81% at one point in the first half, and it went down to 78%. I think we had 26 shots, 13 on target. Unfortunately, a lot of the on target ones went straight down the throat of the keeper. So that's the only negative I can think. But I'm usually quite happy with them sort of stats. So that wasn't too bad. Man of the match, mate. Let's set Paul. Who do you think City's man of the match? Or well, he would be normally everyone's man of the match. I think yesterday, based on what we saw. Who would you have gone for?
Are we assuming that we don't have to pick Bernardo because he would have been man of the match?
No, you've got to pick man of the match, mate. You've got to pick the man of the match. Who was the best player on that pitch yesterday? Who's worth 150 million? I don't want to. Push you into anything, but which guy's worth about 150 million at the moment? It was man of the match yesterday.
Begins with a B and ends in an O, doesn't it?
Well, it wasn't Sterling, was it? I mean, I think Sterling was probably the man of the first 30 minutes. Don't get me wrong. I thought it was a bit of the old Sterling, but overall, no, he did sort of the old ways came back. What do you think, Stuart? Do you agree with that man of the match there?
Yeah, Bernardo. Yeah, I thought Sterling played well. In fact, I thought they all played pretty well. But Bernardo's just on another level, isn't he, at the minute? So it's Bernardo all day, every day for me.
Getting boring, isn't it, guys? I mean, I've had him man of the match about 7 or 8 times this season. Even when I haven't given it him, I've only done that because half the time I thought, well, I'm not giving it him again. I'll give it someone else. It's unbelievable. I mean, I'm sure we'll come back to whether this guy is still happy or he is happy at City. I know a lot is coming out that he is happy, but I think that story's got a bit to run yet, unfortunately. Right, let's get on to the Champions League, guys. We've already qualified. Obviously, I'll start with you, Paul, because you were actually going over to the game, but now you're still going over on a piss up. We're an adult channel, aren't we? You're still going over there to enjoy yourself and stuff like that. I mean, I'm sure it's we're allowed on this channel to mention the odd naughty word. So it's the Red Bull Arena, of course. We can't say Red Bull because it's Germany, so you're not allowed to say things like that. It's RB Leipzig, of course, we're playing. We're not playing Red Bull Leipzig or anything like that because this 50+1 rule they have in Germany, you can't do things like that. You can invest, but hey, there you go. It's all a bit weird to me. I don't quite understand it. But no fans, Paul, in the ground. This is match day 6. We've already done it. At the moment, we're on 12 points. PSG are on 8. And obviously, Leipzig have got something to play for, mate, haven't they? They're on 4 and Brugge are on 4 after that wonderful victory, of course, that they had 5-0 at Brugge, which surprised me, to be honest with you, Paul. So, I mean, it's going to be one-way traffic, isn't it? Leipzig are going to tear us apart. What do you reckon, mate? What sort of team have we got? Are we going to play a strong team? Are we going to play the kids? Are we going to play a mix and match? What do you think? And are Leipzig going to do us over?
Well, I've just learned something there off you, Bernard, because I didn't know RB stood for Red Bull. I didn't know that.
Well, so that's in Germany. He's not allowed to. He's not allowed to say it in Germany.
I always wondered what it meant, But yeah, thanks for that. So I've been educated. The other one is we're not actually going to go now because of the because of the quarantining. You've got to have 2 days when you come back and stuff like that, and PCR and it's not worth. It'd be a week off work for going. I might as well just go to Manchester and watch it in a bar somewhere. So we've kiboshed that, knocked it on its head.
You're not going to watch it home with a cup of hot chocolate or anything like that. You're going to go to Manchester in the bar and watch it. Yeah, I know. Yeah. So 5:45 p.m. kickoff. So by 10 o'clock at night, it'll be absolute disaster area around your place.
Well, we've got the It's the same as a German market with different accents in it. So we'll just pretend. I think onto the match. I think Pep will always pick a strong side. He might put some of the kids in, which I think he will do. He'll put some of them in, but he'll also have a strong bench. And he wants to win everything. He wants to win everything. So he won't be. He'll be picking a side that he thinks can win. So. But I do think there'll be some kids in there, and it'll be good to see them on the European stage again as well. So that'll be nice.
Yeah, Stuart, I mean, you mentioned kids. I mean, certainly 7 days ago, before, obviously, I would have thought, there'll be 2 or 3 kids playing in this. But I think Palmer might get a reward and get a start. But I'll be honest with you, I'll come to you, Stuart. I think he'll be the only one. I think the rest of the guys will be the guys who need time on the pitch and the guys on the periphery, to be honest with you, most of the team. Now he's got his full squad back. I think that's how Pep will play it. What do you think?
I think Palmer will play, but I think that McAtee might get a game as well because he played well when he came on the other game, didn't he? I thought. And then De Bruyne needs game time, doesn't he? Because he's just coming back. So I think he'll get 60 minutes or whatever. And then you probably see Mahrez will be playing. The few of them. Fernandinho might get in. And then Stones didn't play yesterday, did he? So you probably think he'll be at Imanaki at centre half, maybe.
I mean, they've got good pedigree, these guys, haven't they, Paul? They're 8th in the Bundesliga as I'm recording this. Obviously, it may have changed. There's certain games going on. They're a bit disappointed. I mean, in the last 5 seasons, they've only finished out the top 3 once. I mean, as I say, the owners of this team and the fans expect a little bit more. And this manager of theirs, his name slipped me. I did have it down here somewhere. Does any of you guys remember his name? Jesse Marsh it is, yeah. I mean, he's following the footsteps, of course, of Hasenhüttl. He was the manager. Nagelsmann, of course, who went on to better things. And obviously, Mr. Ralph Rangnick, back in time, was involved as director of football as well. So, I mean, they've got, they do play this pressing game, Paul, don't they? They were very good. You think back to the game at the Etihad. They're very good at pressing. So if we don't put a reasonably strong team out, they could certainly, all right, they're not going to beat us 6-3, but what do you think, Paul? Do you think they've got a chance of turning us over if they do the business?
I know you mentioned the managers there. I haven't a clue who the last one was, but I recognise all the others. The last one, I haven't a clue who he is.
What, Nagelsmann? Oh, Rangnick. Yeah, Mr. Rangnick. Yeah, I have heard of him. I don't know why. He's sort of been on my mind somehow. I don't know what reason that is.
They're probably playing for the managing the Dog and Duck in Salford somewhere or something. But I mean that's how they'll be set up is to press. But I don't have a team presses us. We work round it, don't we? We work through the press, and I don't think it'll be an issue for us, to be honest. They're 8th in the Bundesliga, then I mean that's like Celtic, isn't it? Really,
might as well be Celtic.
Exactly, might as well be Celtic. Yeah, I mean that's the sort of level that they're at, isn't it? So
Well,
I really can't.
Interestingly enough, there, Paul, you mentioned Celtic. This manager that they've got at the moment was wanted by Celtic. He could have actually gone to Celtic, but he decided to stay, obviously, at RB. Yeah. Sorry, I've stopped you. Go on, carry on.
No, you're right. I mean, there you go. Then that's what I'm saying. That's the level they're at. That there shouldn't be an issue for us at all. If we don't get the result we want, it's because we've played badly. It won't be because they've played well. We'll have let them win. It'll be down to us if we win or not.
Well, RB Leipzig, Stuart, have obviously given themselves a chance. I mean, that 5-0 victory at Brugge shocked me. I didn't expect that at all. I thought, Brugge have been playing quite well and drawing games at home against the good teams like against PSG, for instance. So that did surprise me. But, I mean, to me, it tells me they do want this Europa League place. And although Brugge have to, of course, go to PSG, which, let's face it, if PSG don't turn Brugge over, it will be a bit of a shock. But so perhaps the pressure isn't on RB Leipzig. Perhaps even if we beat them, they'll still do it. But I think they've got a lot to prove, Stuart, in this Leipzig. I think they might surprise us, and I do expect a few goals, to be honest with you, because I think they're going to go for it. And I think, obviously, if the game opens up, it won't be 6-3. I don't think. We might record this and play it back. Well, I don't think it'll be 6-3 either way, Stuart. But what do you think? You're looking forward to plenty of goals, and what do you expect from Leipzig?
I think they'll be well up for it, won't they? Because, like you said, I think they really want that Europa League spot because of the backing they've got. I think it's expected. I don't think Brugge or Leipzig expected to finish in the top 2 of the group with us and PSG. So that's the best. I think that's the best they were hoping for, is to get in the Europa League. So they won't want to miss out. Hopefully there'll be goals. Hopefully, I hope it's an exciting game. It's a bit of a nothing game, isn't it, for us, really, because we've already proved group winners. So it don't really matter to us either way. But I hope we don't just go and throw the game, because it means something for both them other two teams, doesn't it? So I wouldn't like to turn up and play the 23s and get dicked. And then that means Brugge miss out because we just threw the game.
Yeah, I think now we've got the full squad back. I have thought, though, that Paul, I don't know if you agree with me, that he'd probably play Stefan. What do you think?
Yeah, you know what? I'm not going to.
There's nothing wrong with it. I've been quite impressed with Stefan. Don't get me wrong. I think he's been playing a lot better. I personally think he'll take a chance on Stefan and give Ederson a rest.
I don't see why not. I mean, Stefan, I've not given it too much thought, but I think Stefan, he's a very good keeper. He can play it out from the back. He's very similar style to Ederson. So it wouldn't bother me if he did. I'd be happy with him playing. Not a problem.
Yeah, I mean, he's not a kid, is he, Stuart? So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with putting Stefan in. He's had, he's getting plenty. He's certainly a far better keeper now than he was, say, 12 months ago. So, I wouldn't worry too much if they do play Stefan. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I agree. He's more than capable. He doesn't really do much wrong, does he, when he plays in the cup game? So, why not just stick him in for this one? It's a good experience for a minute. He's obviously. Yeah. Hopefully, he hopes to be a first-choice goalkeeper somewhere. So you need to get these sort of experiences in. So play him.
Certainly a game that Red Bull then. Certainly a game that RB Leipzig need to win, certainly more than City do. But obviously, at the end of the day, we don't want to go out of the group on a loss, do we, guys? We want to at least get a result. Even a draw will do for me, to be honest. I'm not too worried if it ends up as a draw, as long as it's a good game, to be honest with you. And I think Mr. Jesse Marsh, he's been down with COVID recently as well, so that's it. He couldn't go to the last match. He couldn't coach on the bench because he was poorly with COVID. So I think it's pretty rife over in that area of the world at the moment, from what I can see, unfortunately. Although it's not too bad here, is it, guys? Let's be honest about it. We're struggling a bit here, of course. Right, let's go on. Let's go on to the last thing we're going to talk about as far as games today. Wolverhampton Wanderers, yes. As we're the last game they played, they let us down badly, didn't they, Paul? Let us down badly against a certain team down the East Lancs Road, and we thought they might have held out for a 0-0 draw. So we got them on the 11th of December at the Etihad. A morning kickoff. I'll come back to that in a minute, actually, the morning kickoff, a little bit about that. But what have you seen anything of Wolves? Bruno Lang, is it, or Lage? Bruno Lage, is it, the manager? Have you seen anything of Wolves? They're doing better than they did last season, Paul. They're currently 8th as we're recording this. It could be slightly different now. But have you seen anything of Wolves? What do you think?
To be honest with you, no, I don't. I kind of try not to watch other teams. I'm not really interested in what they do, to be honest, because I know what we can do. So, I've seen results and stuff like that. They're not pulling any trees up, though, are they? So again, I don't see anything but a City win, to be honest. I don't think they've got anything to worry us.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, the sort of got Jimenez, Adama, and some other guy up front, I can't pronounce his name, who have been doing okay. So I'll just come to you, Stuart. I mean, the thing is about Wolves, Klopp was having a whinge at the last game, and obviously Liverpool managed to scrape a win in the 94th minute, whatever it was. But he's whinging that they were very defensive, etc. I've just looked back at some of the stats. I've actually looked back at some of the stats in games, and Wolves aren't great on the old shots on target and pushing forward. They don't mind giving up a lot of possession. This new manager isn't all expansive, you know what I mean? So I don't know what Klopp's prattling on about. He obviously has to find an excuse, doesn't he, Stuart? But I mean, obviously, I think Wolves played like they usually play. They sort of try and hit teams on the break, even when they're playing at Molineux. They do that. I mean, have you seen anything of Wolves to what agree with Klopp or disagree with Klopp, or is he just making excuses that it took so long to break them down?
I'm just going to disagree with Klopp because he's always whinging. But yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't think they play any different. Like they played any different yesterday. It did sound. I had it on that Soccer Saturday in the background, and it did sound it was a bit one-way traffic, and they didn't really have any shots. And I think if Liverpool were a bit more clinical yesterday, they could have probably scored 2 or 3. But yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? I'm with Paul. I don't see it being a problem for City next weekend. I hope it is next weekend, isn't it? Yeah, the 11th. I don't see it being a problem for City, really.
Yeah, I mean, 12:30 a.m. kickoff, guys. Paul, I'll come to you, mate. I know it gives you a bit more time in the pub after the game, obviously. But I always find, obviously, whether it's Wolves or some other team we're playing, I always find the 12:30 p.m. kickoffs a bit disappointing atmosphere-wise and match-wise. I mean, do you think it has a big effect on the game, Paul?
I think it does. I think it does because, whether you like it, you don't like it. Alcohol has a bearing on the atmosphere in the ground. And if you've got like an early kickoff on a Sunday, there's not a lot of chance of people to have a beer and get into it and do the routine they normally do. It breaks the routine up for people as well, having these early kickoffs. So it's not just beer, but it's the routine that you're in and, the frame of mind you're in as well. And you get these early games, they're bobbins, aren't they? You're just in a different frame of mind. And then it's afterwards. I mean, it's all right having a drink afterwards, but it's before the game you want to have a drink and gets you in the mood and gets you going for it. So, no, wait, this early kickoff is nonsense. And when you're playing a team like Wolves as well, where, they'll probably go mad at me for this, but they're not the biggest sort of supported team, are they? They're not like a rampant set of fans, are they? So, no, I think we'll be quite subdued, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Wolves are going to come to the Etihad, Stuart, on Saturday morning. Obviously, there are still tickets on sale. I don't know if these are return tickets or we're just not sold out in the first place. So there's a little bit of lethargy around the thing. But we're top of the league now, Stuart. So, I mean, obviously, we should be up for it. It doesn't affect the players, Stuart. What do you think? Does it affect the players, the morning kickoffs? I know they have a routine, and then they might build into the routine a couple of days before. They might do the training at different times and stuff like that, don't they? I think they do all this, don't they? Very clever stuff to try and get them in the mould of what time they're playing of the day, and obviously they might train at night sometimes, mightn't they, to allow for that recovery time, etc. But what are your thoughts, Stuart, on the 12:30 kickoff? And obviously, the top of the league, we shouldn't need much pushing. Mostly the players. I mean, they just want to keep up there now. If we go unbeaten now for the rest of the season, it's our title again. I mean, we don't need any more than that, do we?
That's it. Just match what everyone else does now and win the league. But no, I don't. It shouldn't affect the players. But it always the 12:30 kickoff games always do seem a bit flatter, like from the players and the fans. I know whether it's because the fans are a bit flatter and that makes the players flatter, I don't know, or whether it's just because of the early kickoff that meant the players aren't as ready for it. But they shouldn't be. They should be well up for it now, top of the league. Everyone should be up for it, and it should be just a good day out.
Yeah. Paul, I'll come to you. Anything we've not touched upon today that might have been of interest to you on as far as City are concerned? Anything we've not had a quick chat about? A bit shorter today, obviously only the three of us. We've lost Abdul, unfortunately, early doors. But anything else that took your eye to do with City?
No, I mean it's ongoing thing with I've got his name now. Which our potential striker. Is he still unsettled?
The Fiorentina guy, the one from Italy.
Yeah, does he still want to play? Is he injured? What's going on there? I don't know. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll watch this space.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Stuart. I mean, we had 99% of what we're told's rubbish anyway, isn't it, mate? I mean, have you got any views on that and anything that you had any thoughts of?
I don't really listen to what the papers or Sky Sports News are telling me until I see somebody stood next to Pep or them other guys from the boardroom holding a City shirt. I just think, we signed him now, because you can hear it all the time, can't you? Oh, he's coming, and then no one comes. And the only thing really that I want to say is that it's good to see all the players that were injured or just coming back to full fitness and getting games. That's probably the most positive thing that's come out of this weekend, really.
Yeah, it is amazing. I mean, you sort of think, you look at it and you think, did Pep sort of tell a few little white lies last week about all these niggles and stuff? Because it seems strange that all of a sudden we've more or less got a full squad again. I think they all came out of the last game okay, so I think we're all right on that. So you do even worry about what we're told by our own guys, don't you? Never mind the media and the press and stuff like that. So I mean, that's the problem. What we have to put up with. So that's it, guys. Well, another one done. Another victory and another couple of games to look forward to. It never stops, does it, watching City? So, obviously, you're going to get to that pub nice and early for the next game, the Champions League game. You're going to get sort of about 9 a.m. It must be 9 a.m. just ready for the 5 kickoff, something like that. So you'll be fine.
I've got the bus ready.
You've got a Christmas do for the same pub at the same night, or something like that. You'll be fine.
I'm going to book up on my German.
Stuart, are you going to be watching it at home, or are you going to go to a pub and watch it?
I'm probably just going to watch it at home, mate. I live in Sale. It's full of United fans, all the pubs down there. So I just watch it. I won't only watch it at home night matches if I'm not going.
Yeah, no problem, guys. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Our apologies to any viewers who stuck with us for the technical problems early on. Sorry that Abdul couldn't sort of get a word in edgeways, which he doesn't anyway half the time with Paul babbling on. But I'm me, of course. But we can only apologise for that. And hopefully you'll join us for a more efficient and less technically complicated one next week on the In Good Company podcast. So it's goodbye from Paul, it's goodbye from Stuart, and it's goodbye from me, Bernard. Hopefully we'll see you all again very soon. Thanks for tuning in.
See you later.